Welcome to Social Media Meltdown this week. I'm Joe.
And I'm Caitlin.
And this week's topic is...
Patriotism.
America.
Can't really finish that song.
Well,
okay, so...
country that I'm from.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're talking about patriotism, and again, if you want to email... Not again. To start, if you'd like to email the show, email us at socialmediameltdown@justcoolenough.com. Again, socialmediameltdown@justcoolenough.com. We look through there. There's very little good content. We want some good questions that we can answer on air. If you have questions or anything that you want to say to the show, to Caitlin, to I, there's also our Twitter feeds, but also our email is a very good place because we do check it. All right. So, like you said, patriotism, Caitlin.
And that kind of sounds like a really weird topic in relation to social media, but there's so much stuff going on right now. I mean, obviously the Olympics, but being proud of being from America is kind of a popular trending topic, if you will, on social media. So, like I said, we have the Olympics, but then we also have the Mars landing, which was a couple days back. So it depends on when you're listening, but it was at was it the 6th of August?
Well, it depends where you were. If you were on the Pacific time zone, it was the 5th, but on our Eastern time zone here, it was the 6th. So depending on where you are in the world, it was the 5th or 6th.
Sometime in there. But anyway, so let's first start with the Olympics.
So, I mean, are we going to be super America-centric on this show today because we're talking about patriotism, or are we just talking about national pride?
I would say, for this one, national pride.
Okay.
So I was actually kind of surprised to see that USA sentiment on Twitter around the Olympics is actually lower every single day of the Olympics so far than it was on the 4th of July, Independence Day, this year. So basically what whoever did this study, which was Topsy, they went and they seen how many people were using the term USA. So that was their sentiment that they were studying. And then they kind of counted everyone up to see how many people were using it positively.
Oh, really? So they did go through and see who was using it in a positive manner? They weren't...
Exactly.
Okay.
So, and no day so far has outranked Independence Day, which I thought was really odd.
Really?
And you and I kind of talked about this, but it's still, people could be saying America or just U.S. And things like that. And actually what we're seeing on it this year is that since social media is playing a bigger role in the games than it has in any of the past games, people are actually more rooting for specific athletes. Instead of USA, they're cheering for specific people. So then we're going to see that drop in the sentiment as well. But this year is definitely a big role for social media with the Olympics. And it's kind of exciting because we get a backstage view, basically, of what's going on. So although it doesn't seem like we're as patriotic this year, we're actually very supportive of our athletes.
One thing, I mean, this was the first, I think it was the first big deal that Twitter made with a major provider here. If you didn't know, Twitter has actually paired up with NBC to tweet activities that are going on, and it's kind of been, I don't know, I wouldn't say undermining, but this whole NBC debacle, if you don't know what's going on.
I was going to say, it kind of backfired on NBC.
Yeah, it really backfired.
Topic, I believe, every day of the Olympics so far has been NBC,
NBC fail. Hashtag NBC fail. If you haven't seen it, that's amazing. But, I mean, the coverage, people don't like the coverage that NBC's doing because, in a nutshell, they're showing things that's already happened. And people want to see current things, and there's a debacle.
It's not even that they're showing things that have already happened. They'll do, like, during the peak hours of the day, they'll do, like, their press conferences or interviews with people, and they'll interview people talking about how they won, but NBC hasn't even filmed that or showed that event yet. So then that kind of
Yeah, I mean, and also their commentary hasn't been stunning, but I'm sure I try to cut them some slack because with so many hours of coverage, I can't imagine like you're watching the trampolining event or like how are you gonna make that super interesting? It's tough, so I try to give them as much leeway as possible. But there's been some times on like main events where it was just like, all right, we get it, and I mean, my Olympic American pride is pretty low. I would say like on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a solid 3. Like
I would rate myself about the same.
If it's on, I watch it, but I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to see any Olympic match. I mean, there's just not much that interests me in it. I don't know. Do you think social media can play a bigger role in getting our generation interested? Because I see a lot more older people interested in the Olympics and a lot more younger people interested in whatever else they're interested in.
Exactly, and this goes along with the second subject of the Mars landing. But it's something, I don't know what's missing in our generation. Maybe we just play too many video games and we play FIFA every day, so who cares if we're watching soccer in the Olympics? But, although I think soccer has been one of the most popular sports so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's something about it isn't as appealing to the younger generations, and I think by Twitter pairing with NBC, even if NBC was totally failing at this, I think it was a way to reach that younger generation. I believe it's the largest growing audience or users on Twitter is the people that are a little bit younger than you and I. So it's like the ones that are just getting out of high school right now and entering into college is actually the largest growing users on Twitter. They actually use Twitter more than they use Facebook, which I found interesting. So I think they are trying to rope in people at a younger age, get them interested, get them to support their country, or just support a country in general. I have a lot of friends that are, have family from other countries, and they support those countries, not instead of the United States, but in addition to. So I think being able to have this front page access to the games, as well as have access to all of the athletes, it really makes the games a little bit different than it used to be, because we were always so removed from it. And now we get to actually talk to them in some instances. And
has it worked for you, though? Has Twitter got you to watch NBC coverage? Because I could say for me, absolutely not. The only reason I've watched any sort of coverage is just because it was on and I was in, I watched it by proxy. I was just there, somebody else was watching it and was telling me about it, and then all of a sudden I'm watching it. So that's like how it happened.
I can honestly say that nothing has happened on Twitter that has made me want to watch the Olympics. However, I did watch track and field yesterday, and I wouldn't have known to watch track and field yesterday. And I know that sounds really boring to most people, but I used to be a runner, so track and field actually interests me. Watching people run in circles is exciting. But without Twitter, I wouldn't have known that those games had even started.
Yeah.
I knew they were later in the week, but I wasn't really sure when they were.
Do you think because the internet and social media and social networking has made us so much more global, we're really more of a global society, do you think it's harder for people to root against countries, or is it more like it's less competitive because there's less national pride in the world? I mean, is there less national pride in the world, do you feel? Because that's kind of how I'm feeling. Like maybe there's just...
like we are, especially with the way social media has been around the Olympics, I feel like we're moving towards one unified body of people, because, I mean, it's gotten to the point where people now know athletes so well that you're actually rooting for athletes rather than the team in general or for the country, which I find incredibly strange. Because I was watching at the restaurant the other day, and they were actually talking about, they were non-U.S. athletes, and they're talking about them like they had been talking about all the other athletes because they're really good. And I got really excited for them, and then I really wanted them to win because, I don't know, but they weren't from my country, so I think it's...
Is that like against the... Is that sacrilegious, you know, to root against your country?
But isn't that what the Olympics is supposed to do? Isn't it supposed to bring people together and create something positive for humanity? And maybe Twitter is just kind of the outlet to spread that message even further.
I think it was like started, you know, to show the dominance of like Greece, and then it just kept going.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't quote me on that. I know social media and interneting, but I'm not a history major.
I don't mean like the original Olympic Games. I mean the point of the modern day Olympic Games is for people to come together and good sportsmanship and all that kind of junk.
Winning. Stuff. It's always about winning. You know, you got to be competitive.
No.
You got to be America. But okay,
Why will tweeting be an Olympic sport?
I don't know. Just as soon as race car driving. So let's switch gears a little bit. We have some other national pride kind of stuff going on with this Curiosity rover that NASA launched, and has just kind of taken over the internet. I mean, like, since it launched, the nerd community and the geek community and pretty much every other community has talked about it at least once or twice. And
exactly. I mean, NASA was kind of on a little bit of a down slump, kind of. So they were kind of losing funding and losing support. And
well, really kind of is not even a little. I mean, like they lost a lot of funding. Their budget got cut a huge amount, and I mean, so much so where they stopped manned space missions to the International Space Station, and they're like, Russians, you got this. Private companies, you're gonna have to take care of this. We can't afford to do it anymore. And I mean, I think ever since like the '60s, after we got on the moon a couple times, there's been a steady decline in interest. And then Challenger blew up, and everybody was interested in it because there was drama, and that's awful. But I mean, we've been sending probes like this out for a while. It just, I think that the one video that kind of sparked so much interest was the 7 Minutes of Terror video. Did you see that video?
No, I didn't.
Oh my gosh, it was a very dramatic video saying like, there's a 7-minute window, and we're trying to do this, and you got these really passionate like people out of the Jet Propulsion Laboratories just pouring their heart and soul out into this video, and I mean, it had a couple million views, and I bet you it has more now. But what has captivated us about this? Has it been just the craziness of the the mission itself, or what?
I mean, so I think there was two things going on. NASA was fighting two losing battles. One, their timing was completely off. This was all going to happen during the Olympics, and they really needed to hit a home run here. The viability of all of this was on the line, so they really needed to hit a home run. If they had the support of the United States people behind them, maybe this could, project other projects in the future. And then the other thing they had against them was that no one really cares anymore. I mean,
that's totally happened.
Earlier, I mean, in the 60s, everyone was so excited about it, and everything was great. And I feel like still, like, now my parents were excited about all this, and I honestly didn't care until I found out that it tweets, and it's freaking hilarious.
That's news to me. It tweets. Where do I? What's the name on this thing?
It's now I gotta look it up.
Curiosity.
It's Curiosity, I think, rover.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
But it is hilarious. I'm looking it up right now. So what it does is the rover actually tweets in what we assume is real time, and it would be
at least 14 minutes old when it's tweeting. I don't know if it's actually tweeting from Mars, but somebody's tweeting for it at least.
Well, okay, so it's Mars Curiosity. and it's a verified account, so you know it's legitimately NASA. Let me go back to the tweets from the landing. So it was tweeting. I always wanted to call it a he, but I guess we'll call it an it, because I don't want to assume that it's not a woman.
How progressive of you.
I know. So he talks about how the guided entry has begun. Here I go. Parachute deployed. 7 miles, 4 minutes to Mars. And then back at the beginning, he does say that. No, I can't find it. The 7 minutes that you were 7 minutes of terror starts now. And then he talks about the guided entry and that his parachutes have deployed. And he does step by step of everything that happens. And then it says, photo or it didn't happen. Well, look here. I'm casting a shadow on the ground of Mars's Gale crater. And then you picked a picture of his shadow.
They're really pulling out all the stops to make this the most interesting rover ever.
And, I mean, it's witty, and it uses what the media is calling internet speak. So he's really up on what people say.
Good golly, Miss Molly, new color pic from the Mars lens shows you tan sand.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean...
No Instagram required.
He used, well, as well as all of this tweeting, NASA actually live streamed from their control panel, or their control room, so you could actually watch them in real time.
Oh, that was really, really awesome.
Yeah, so it's like watching the movies. That's how it was. When you watch, what is it, Apollo 13, and they're in the little control room, and that's kind of what they were doing.
It was exactly that.
It doesn't get any better than this. One of the guys, and I can't think of what he is, but he's important enough to be in the room.
Was it the dude with the mohawk?
Yeah, he has a mohawk, and he spray paints stars on the shorter hair, and apparently he only does it for big events for good luck. Well, anyways, he kept getting he was in the shot during the live stream. And now people have turned him into a meme, and he's had to tweet about it, and he went from like 400 followers to like 6,000 followers over the course of the night because everyone wanted to talk to him about his hair, and he's kind of hilarious. I think there's a Tumblr called NASA Needs More Mohawks, and it's basically just all memes of him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to go check that out because I know I saw a funny, I think it was a GIF of him dancing, was it?
I don't know. I've seen a lot of things about him. So I think that NASA has really breathed new light into their space programs. And if you can get people interested in it, you're going to get new engineers that are interested in working in the field. You're going to get people that want to support it. Because really for these kind of programs, you need to market to the younger kids, because by the time they get old enough, that's when you're going to start needing the support, and you're going to start needing the money to further these big programs. So I think they're doing a really great job. The rover is hilarious to follow. And the pictures are interesting. I mean, no other space mission have we ever seen this many pictures while they're still there. I mean, we see pictures, once they come back, and then NASA releases pictures, and you get like maybe 4. I mean, he's sending them out all the time. Sorry, I keep calling him a he, and I don't want him to be a he.
This entity.
And the picture of his shadow in the crater is awesome. All the pictures are awesome. So.
And I mean, like, everything's. They really are doing a good job. NASA is doing a great job at using social media to their advantage, and you could see that by they're not really redirecting to their site. They're going to where the audience is. They're staying on Twitter. They're staying on Facebook. They're staying on Instagram, or TwitPic at least. Like they're out there and putting this content out there and being very transparent about everything that's going on. And it's really added to the drama, and I really hope that this kind of stuff really helps out NASA and piques the interests of many people, because I think it's a very important program to the development of not only the U.S. but the whole world. The stuff that went on because of the space race in the 60s and going to the moon and Sputnik and all that stuff, that stuff progressed humanity a tremendous amount. And if they can use social media to keep gathering steam about it, then it's just, and they're doing great. I think it's awesome. I'm really amazed they came out of nowhere, and like 3 or 4 days before, I was like, man, they sure got a lot of buzz about this thing, and people were live streaming it. There was the twit.tv network did a live stream of like the control room, and just had live coverage just like you would any news event. It was marvelous. I love it.
It was, and I'm glad to see people all over the country getting really excited about it. And I mean, when our parents were kids, probably 60% of the little boys wanted to be astronauts.
Yeah.
And now I don't think I can name like anyone that wants to be an astronaut.
Nobody.
And so I'm hoping things mainstream like this will turn that around, because if you have more people that want to be in space, people will be in space.
And luckily, there's some pretty awesome companies like Virgin Galactic and SpaceX that are going to be putting people in space. But I'm a little bit off. You keep me on track here. I'm a nut for this kind of stuff. I've never wavered in how much I love space.
I know, I love space.
It's just great. I love it. It's the next frontier. I'm not even saying not the final. It's the next one.
But it's like, I'm not going to go there. I mean, I would love to.
You can. You will. By the time we're like...
President?
Well, yes, that's what I was going to say. By the time we're like mid-30s, 40s, space travel is going to be just like, it'll be on par with taking an expensive flight.
True.
It will be. I'm super excited about it. So I'm going to space. I don't know about you.
But it's things like this that are really going to help. The extra publicity, the gain in popularity. It's really... Just the gain in popularity alone will spark innovation all over the country and start furthering these projects faster and faster. So you got to have interest somewhere, and that was really starting to fall off for space travel. So I'm excited. People are excited. People are into it. So it's exciting.
I'm going to follow the Mohawk guy right now on Twitter.
I know. What's his name?
Bobak F. Hold on. I got to find it. It's BOBAK, I think _F. Maybe it's not _F. I don't know. I'll find him. But
it is. I don't know.
We'll link it on the Just Cool Enough site here.
We will.
And that'll be good.
I mean, he's a nobody, so it's hard to find him on the internet. But
dude,
he's blowing up like crazy.
Well, yes.
And apparently he does it all the time. So he wasn't doing it for attention because he was on, he was live on the internet. That's what he does for big events. And so, I mean, it's my dream to be a meme. So I can only hope that something like this will happen to me one day.
That would be awesome.
As long as, I don't even care if it's a positive or a negative meme at this point. Like, I just want
You're just so desperate. You're getting up there, so your meme legitimacy is going to be internet age. We're both like 130 years old.
I know. We're both about to die on the internet. So life support, please.
So his I think his tweet handle is tweets out loud.
Yes, that's it.
And right now he has 37,000 followers. and
he had trying to see, I was looking for it. I don't see how many he had before then, but I think I remember seeing it was only in the 200 or 300 range. So that is crazy. And he is twitter.com/tweetsoutloud. And he actually explained his mohawk that says, people keep asking about my hair. Here it is. And he picked the picture. Been doing this for big events. And And then he tagged NASA, Curiosity, Dare Mighty Things, and got his picture up there. So it's crazy. And then the meme that I saw that was funny has a picture of him with his headset on, and he's sitting in front of the computer, and it says, "Becomes an internet sensation. Too busy landing a robot on Mars to notice."
There's many marriage proposals also.
Ooh. But he did tweet about his hair in the middle of the landing, so I don't know. He must have been soaking up the attention, so he had to send out a picture of himself.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think he's going to end up being more of a spokesperson than anything for NASA, because this kind of internet fame, this unprecedented internet fame, is just, yeah, he's gonna.
the flight director.
That's kind of an important role, also.
Yes, at the Mars Science Laboratory Curiosity.
I think I'm gonna park a little like cutout of that dude next to my Lego Millennium Falcon that I got a couple weeks ago.
One day I hope to have such an impressive job title.
Awesome. Well, I think it's about that time where we look in our chat room. We do record this show live, by the way, on our live stream. Our details are on the site, so check that out. But we are going to be rebooting, a little bit of house cleaning here. We're going to be getting a Social Media Meltdown channel on the YouTubes. We will also be having a channel on one of the live stream sites, either live stream, Justin TV, whatever works best. But all those details are going to be around probably not till for another 2 weeks. I'm taking a vacation next week, so we'll figure that out.
Slacker.
I'm a slacker, but I'm using all the tips from the week before so I can survive the nature.
Oh yes.
That's
so
right.
If you didn't watch last week's episode, I gave a bunch of tips on how I survived nature with and without some of my favorite pieces of technology, and kind of the tools I used to keep the pieces of technology I did take with me safe. So.
I don't understand how our significant others like nature so much. It's nuts. It's just crazy.
I'm lucky because my significant other also loves gadgets, but he's not as keen on the social media as I am. So although he likes to have he has the solar panels and the phone and all that junk, he doesn't feel the need to literally be on them all the time.
See, I don't understand that at all.
That's my problem.
Although, you know what? Part of me is looking forward to I'm leaving my work phone.
Oh.
And I'm only going to bring a phone for emergencies.
Nice.
I don't even think I'm going to tweet that week.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, I'll take pictures. Maybe I'll just bring an old-fashioned digital camera. No internet connection. I might go.
Yeah, I had a camera.
I'll be called the seven days of terror.
Yeah, exactly. But it is really it's refreshing to not be on your phone. See, I mean, he was all over my case about being on my phone, so we always packed our phones with us, and then the only time I would go on my phone would be at night when we're sitting around the fire or whatever.
So I think unless something crazy happens, maybe the next episode we should talk about social media detox or internet detox.
Mm-hmm.
See what happens, because I'm going to try it. I'm going to last as long as I can for my little camping trip. I can only imagine.
and I do it way more than you do. It's hard when, like, you're doing something and your brain wants you to tell the world and you can't. And it's like, I really want to tell them that I saw a lumberjack. I really want to tell them that I saw a sign for bear.
You should have wrote down all your tweets and just tweeted them for like 40 minutes of just nonstop tweets. Just saw a lumberjack.
I just logged an entire list of every thought that came through my head.
Tweets from my vacation without internet.
I will do that next time.
I might do it. I might do it right now. I'll write a list of supposed tweets.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway,
so I heard you had a plug for this week.
I do have a plug for this week. I'm glad you reminded me because I was about to close up shop. If we have any questions from the chat room, send them to Caitlin or ask them out loud right now. We'll go read them. And remember, our email address is socialmediameltdown@justcoolenough.com. My plug for this week is badastronomy.com, but specifically, the man who runs it is at Bad Astronomer on Twitter. Obviously on Twitter, and he's kind of his name's Phil Platt, and he's kind of a little bit of a guru, and he's been on the internet and social media-ing for a long time, and if you're interested in stuff, that's the guy to follow. And then obviously there's tons of NASA stuff you could follow too, but he's kind of like an outsider looking in that actually I think he worked for the Jet Propulsion Laboratories for a while, but anyway, he's the dude to follow. He has about 200,000 followers, and he's worth your while.
He sounds great.
He is great. He's a great guy. He's a skeptic and an astronomer. It's hard to find that. So
I'm so interested.
Yes, go follow it. Badastronomy.com.
Sorry.
I'm wondering. Do you have anything to plug or?
I do not have anything to plug this week. I was a little bit of a slacker.
Well, I mean that one. It's F yeah, Bobak Ferdos or whatever his name is, the tweet out loud guy.
Yeah.
That's kind of a plug, right?
Yeah, I mean he's cool.
If you Google NASA needs more Mohawks, that could be Caitlin's plug.
Hold on.
Well, Caitlin's gathering.
I'm gonna check and see if there's any questions in the chat room.
All right.
Which there is not. So and yeah, the plug that you were just talking about would be F yeah, but it's the real F word. Bobak Ferdowski. I'll put it in the show notes. .tumblr.com, and it's NASA needs more Mohawks. And it's hilarious. So people making painting pictures of him and making art, and Felicia Day even tweeted at him.
Ooh.
And they tweeted back at each other.
Ooh. I'm jealous now.
Going to geek out here, but huge fan of the Guild and Dr. Horrible. Your tweet made me blush. Said, your Mohawk made my night.
That's nice.
Oh, so cute.
Internet love.
Okay, so that would be my tweet.
Twitlationship? I don't know. Yeah.
You can have a twitship.
Twitship? That's amazing. That's how you know it's true. All right. Well,
true love.
It's true internet love. Thanks for listening, everybody. Live long and prosper. Send us emails, and don't nerd out too hard without me next week.
We'll try not to.
Yes.
But in the meantime, send all your questions and topic suggestions to us, and we will take all of them and make some great shows out of them.
That sounds great. Thanks for listening, and make sure to follow us on our respective Twitter feeds. I'm still doing it. You can't see that. Nah.
I can't see you.
All right.